For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Sorry for the long wait. We are about 20 minutes late. My apologies for this. We had a power outage at our studios, and then we had to reconfigure our system. So apologies to you, but I just have to decide to give you some extra time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. It is on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. We're on TuneIn, Radio Garden, and also the NewsSpin YouTube channel. So don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the channel grow. In a moment, your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026, and Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. The police. One police officer was set aside for scrutiny yesterday, and that is by the island's Deputy Prime Minister, who held a press conference. And that police officer is Inspector George Clark. I can imagine the scrutiny that he's been subjected to, particularly by supporters of the Deputy Prime Minister and the St. Lucia Labour Party, considering we are in the silly season and election year. And even if we were not in the silly season, when have we not been in that particular period in St. Lucia? Because every day is a political day on the island, because we do not differentiate between issues that are impacting the country, issues that are impacting individuals, and issues that are impacting a political party. If an individual is aligned to a political party and that person is under some level of criticism and sometimes it is warranted. We are never a set of individuals to act impartially and to divorce the sides. So let's not conflate the issues. If an individual is being criticized for something, don't consider where he's from, his identity, his political ideology. Let us just look at the issue for what it is. And if a police officer has decided to perform his duties as professionally as he possibly can, should we venture into peripheral issues, like which political party he supports and whether he's an operative of this party or that party? This is a deliberate effort when things of that nature occur to muddy the waters, to confuse what is before us. And I think as far as this matter is concerned between Dr. Ernest Hilaire, the Deputy Prime Minister, and reporter Eldridge Charles, has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with the UWP and the SLP. Because at the end of the day, when this case appears before the magistrate, I doubt the magistrate will be influenced by political parties. I doubt he or she will be taking into consideration which party Dr. Hilaire is supporting or is a member of, and which party that Eldridge Charles is supporting. That's not the issue at all. And when, for example, an ordinary citizen has been caught with an illegal firearm, or ammunition, or drugs, do you consider which party he supports? Does that play out? We want to determine the person's guilt or innocence. And that is for, in some instances, a jury to determine. That is for the magistrate to determine. It is primarily on the basis of the evidence. And I think what has been done to this particular officer, we like to abuse that word unfortunate. Not unfortunate. It is unacceptable, and I think it is calculated to confuse the situation. And so the hacks of the SLP will, I'm sure, all converge, will all conclude that Dr. Ernest Hilaire has anything to do with prosecution. But as was said elsewhere, it is political persecution. And a lot of people in St. Lucia, we're not mindful of facts. We are into emotions. Let us be emotional about this. Let us not focus on the circumstances. Let us not focus on evidence. That's what it is. And we are allowing those educated people to fool us. Because when people get their doctorates, it's not on the basis of an assumption. You have your thesis, you defend it, has everything to do with the facts, prove that you know what is in there, etc. Nothing to do with emotions or how you feel about the person. Or the person was once poor and now they're rich and they went through the struggles. Or if the person is an SLP or a UWP, allow the facts of that particular case to result in a particular outcome. No matter how you think about it. Come election day, you will vote based on emotions, based on who you like, etc. But when you're dealing with the court, it has everything to do with the evidence, what is in the case file. For example, again, it is being said again and again, why didn't the inspector seek permission from the police commissioner? Why didn't he forward that matter to the DPP? It has nothing to do with those individuals. You conduct your case because it's a summary matter. You Go ahead, deal with your case, decide if you're going to file charges, and then you take it from there. You take it before a magistrate, as is being done in this particular matter. So let us hear from Dr. Ernest Hilaire. Dr. Hilaire was speaking about Inspector Clark, made reference to Inspector Clark, and having encountered him in 2021, as if that has anything to do with what happened in 2025. Let's listen to Dr. Ernest Hilaire.
Let us return to the officer who investigated and charged me. He is none other than Inspector Clark, who it is alleged to be a known UWP operative. My first encounter with him was in 2021 elections, when he tried to stop an SLP meeting in Ancillary, and I stood up to him. I accused him then of being a UWP operative. I'm reliably informed that he once took bets that I would lose my seat in the last general elections. Curiously, only days before he charged me, the same investigating officer was in a public place and embroiled in a heated argument with others about me. He may not have known that these individuals knew me very well, or probably he could not care less. It would be interesting when he appears in court for the inspector to answer a few questions. Who did he forward the case file to? The commissioner? The DPP? And if the DPP, did he forward it through the office of the commissioner? Did he forward the file to any senior officer who advised him to press charges? If not, what was the response given to him by any senior officer that he consulted? Or was he on a frolic of his own?
Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Ernest Hilaire. And a question was posed to Dr. Hilaire, and in a moment later as well, we'll feature some of the questions that were posed by our reporters. We're depending on those people to ask the appropriate questions so that they could elicit certain responses on our behalf. So we have a series of questions that we'll be featuring in just a moment. But let's focus on one particular question that was asked by a reporter, I think is now the editor of the Voice newspaper, with regard to the police commissioner.
Listening to your statement and your responses to the various questions, it almost tells me, almost sounds, as if the hierarchy of the police force and I guess the commissioner does not have a handle on what is happening in the police force.
I don't know many solutions that will disagree with you.
Listening to your statement and your responses to the various questions, it almost tells me, almost sounds, as if the hierarchy of the police force and I guess the commissioner does not have a handle on what is happening in the police force.
I don't know many solutions that will disagree with you.
The many solutions who are watching and listening to this broadcast right now, do you believe that the island's police commissioner, Mr. Verngard, does not have control over his officers? Because the question was posed to the Deputy Prime Minister, who already said, I don't know there are many solutions who will disagree with you. I would have asked him, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, I'm posing the question to you, because you are a solution, as opposed to just leaving it there. What say you, Mr. Police Commissioner? And also, what say you, the head of the Police Welfare Association? Because it is passing strange what is happening, where a government minister can take a police officer directed to task, identifying in a particular matter that he's investigating and where he has filed charges. Let's take a call via WhatsApp and let us say hello. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. So I was the one who called you. That is Mr. Cameron Law, who is the president of the Police Welfare Association. You would have heard the statement made by Dr. Ernest Thiele, Deputy Prime Minister, in a matter involving a reporter. And he made reference directly to Mr. Inspector George Clark and describing him as an operative of the United Workers' Party, among other things. Does it have anything to do with the case? And what's your reaction to that approach by the Deputy Prime Minister?
Timothy, I will say this first of all. I have known Mr. Clark for quite some time. Mr. Clark is a veteran police officer, probably maybe almost 30 years of service. He's an inspector of police and he has worked in many stations across the island. I know that Mr. Clark is loved throughout the length and breadth of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I don't know one area that he has worked that there have been any negative reports on him. I really have been around for quite some time myself, and I could say from my position where I stand, the person that I know as Inspector Clark is a very professional police officer and one who is very credible. That I could say from where I stand. I don't know how much information the Deputy Prime Minister would have to have caused him to make the statements that he made. Of course, he has a right to defend himself. It's a matter that is going before the court, and he has a right to employ whatever strategies that he thinks is necessary to defend himself. But I take strong objection to Inspector Clark's name being mentioned and being brought out, and even to suggest that he is an alleged operative of any political party, let alone the United Workers' Party. I don't think it is fair to him. I don't think it is right to have done that. There are police procedures when it comes to investigations that I know. And given the sequence of events, based on what, even some of the things that the Deputy Prime Minister would have indicated in that there was a confrontation and that he was later summoned to court. The matter in question is one of a summary matter, an assault. And Inspector Clark, I could say, might be the most senior police officer in his department. And given the fact that a matter like that came up against a minister of government, of course, it would have gone to the most senior or a senior police officer to investigate it. So I think Inspector Clark would have followed police procedure, normal police procedure, in going through the process of his investigations. I really cannot speak to what evidence they may or may not have as the case where the case is concerned. But I really do believe that Mr. Clark acted, in terms of the investigations, he acted in a credible manner. I really do believe that. Any issues, and I heard the Deputy Prime Minister speak of having an incident sometime in 2021. I don't know of that incident. I don't know the circumstances of that incident. I cannot speak to it. He, the Deputy Prime Minister, is the one who has to speak to it and can speak to it. So it is unfortunate that it has come to that a police officer, the name of the investigating officer, has been brought into question as it relates to this matter, or an investigation, Timothy. But it goes deeper than that. It goes deeper than just that. And some time ago, it was mentioned, there was an incident when somebody brought out the video, and it was said that this video came from close police sources. Now, we have to be very careful, Timothy. we got to be very careful when we make those statements and when we speak the language, that type of language. It brings the organization itself into disrepute. It brings the individuals who are close to the investigation. It brings their credibility sometimes into disrepute, in as much as they may not even be part of all of this. They may not even be aware of what is going on in the political arena. But politicians and surrogates of politicians sometimes use the police force, and they use it indiscriminately. And these are some of the results that we get from people doing these things. Again, I will say, Dr. Hilaire, it is definitely unacceptable that he would have called out the name of a police officer who was investigating a matter. And if he had any issues with that police officer, I think it is something that he should take up with the Commissioner of Police and allow it to be dealt with. And if it is necessary that disciplinary proceedings be brought against, then so be it. But to go publicly and to announce the name of a police officer, this could have serious implications for the police officer himself. You know, there are persons who follow and support the political parties, and they may do anything at any time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you never know what they may do to defend the people that they support. You understand? So these are the concerns that I have. You know, these are the concerns that I have where this matter is concerned, and so it's something that is a little mind-boggling, Tim, and I am trying to wrap my head around why, as I would have said, the Deputy Prime Minister has his reasons. He may have information that I don't have as it relates to the gentleman, but I could speak to the gentleman that I know, the gentleman that police officers know, the gentleman who has worked across the length and breadth of the island, the Marine Unit, CID, between Ancillary, Marigot, and Canaries, down in the south and in the Dennery area. He has worked across, and he is a police officer who is well loved. His integrity, as far as I know, his credibility, as far as I know, and as most police officers that I know who have called, is saying that it is very, very unfortunate that this thing has transpired in the way that it has.
Do you expect some kind of reaction or response from the Commissioner of Police or the National Security Minister?
I don't expect any responses. Honestly, I really don't expect responses. The commissioner himself, statements were made about him, and he probably has his questions to answer, you know, as it relates to that. I must say also, in situations like this, where a matter is a summary matter, these matters never reach the office of the Commissioner of Police. It never reached the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. The investigating officer and maybe his supervisor would determine the outcome or how to proceed with these matters. This matter, to have taken 2 months. 2 months is almost a lifetime in terms of these matters. Within a week, at most a week and a half, a matter of an assault is investigated and lodged before the court. One may ask a question: should he have consulted the Commissioner of Police? And whilst it is not necessary that he does that, and he has done absolutely nothing wrong in terms of his actions, one may say that the courtesy of it involving a Deputy Prime Minister, the Commissioner should have been informed that we have a report involving the Deputy Prime Minister, and these are the circumstances, these are the facts in the matter. Outside of that, Timothy, the gentleman has acted with his actions based on his investigations, I think, are credible. He has done nothing wrong in terms of summoning the Deputy Prime Minister to court. What he could have done, on the other hand, Tim, and that's why I say, one of the reasons why I would say that I don't think that it's something personal. Like I said, the Deputy Prime Minister may have his information. It is a case where he could have arrested and detained the Deputy Prime Minister and formally charged him. That is a possibility. That could have happened. But instead, he extended the courtesies that most people don't get. he allowed this to be, he lodged the matter and proceeded by way of summons without formally arresting and charging the Deputy Prime Minister. So for that reason, Tim, I really don't think, that there's a witch hunt on the part of the police officer. I don't think so. And again, I will say the Deputy Prime Minister, given the history that he would have had with this gentleman, with the police officer, he knows why he would have made the statements that he made. But it is unacceptable, any which way you look at it, to have brought out the name of the police officer into the public sphere and to cause, the entire investigation, to be played out in the court of public opinion, where the police is concerned.
Finally, so what are the implications for this police officer? Because normally when things of that nature happen, we hear that disciplinary action is taken against them, or they are transferred to a remote part of the island. Will you be keeping watch? Will the PWA be assisting this police officer if necessary?
The Police Welfare Association definitely be keeping watch. I don't think anything should happen to him in terms of his conduct, because he has not done anything wrong in terms of his investigations. I don't expect him to be transferred. I don't expect any of these things to happen to him. Like I said, he's a police officer who is very, very well known. He has worked very diligently throughout his career, as far as I know. And even commissioners, even former commissioners have called me between yesterday and today to express, their disappointment in the way this thing has played out, because they know of the police officer in question. And it is very unfortunate that it is happening to him in particular. Whatever other issues they may have between he and the Deputy Prime Minister, I think it should be brought before the Commissioner of Police. And if there's reason for disciplinary action, then let that be. One may even ask the question, and it might have been an option, should he have been the investigating officer, knowing that they have this history? One may ask that question, but it's the level of professionalism that I know this gentleman holds. I really don't believe that anything that would have transpired in the past would have affected his ability to be professional and impartial in this investigation.
Any final comments from you, sir?
I want to ask the police officers to continue to be professional, to protect the integrity of the institution called the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, to protect their own integrity by their actions. I want to also ask the political directorate and the operatives of the political parties, to be very, very cautious in the manner in which, in the manner in which they speak of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Because doing that, it only erodes the credibility of the police force, and we cannot have that. Tim, where we are now as a police service, if this thing continues, we might as well privatize the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. So I think we need to be very, very careful what we do and what we say. Police officers have to continue to protect the integrity of the institution. And police officers, I will ask them at this point, I will ask them to protect and to defend the integrity of Inspector George Clark. Every police officer who knows this gentleman should defend his integrity, based on the person that I know.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for speaking with us on this afternoon's NewsSpin program. You just heard there from the president of the Police Welfare Association, Mr. Cameron Law. Let's continue with your calls. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Timothy.
Yes,
Good
sir.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
I have to echo the sentiments of Mr. Cameron Law. The officer in question, Mr. George Clark, I worked with him up to my retirement. Okay, from 2021 until my retirement. And the incident that is mentioned by the Deputy Prime Minister is one that I'm fully aware of. I think I called your program some time ago and I told you where in that incident I was called a buller. Mm-hmm. That's the same incident.
What was the incident about? Refresh our memory, if you can.
Okay, that's why I called it, because I'm surprised that incident is not. I'm not into red or yellow thing. I'm a police officer. I left the force. I still love it, and I've seen the prosecution of the police force all that stupidness. That should stop. That should stop. The politicians are causing the public to be against the police. They make the police look in bad light in what they do, and I'm sick of that shit. Honestly, I'm pissed off about it. I'm not a police officer anymore. I still love the institution. I give it 26.5 years, and I don't like what is being done. George Clark is a professional police. I'm not saying that because he's a police. I'm saying that because I work with him. I work with thugs in the police. I work with guys that I don't want to be around. George Clark is above and beyond that. The man is a professional. I went down there at Ancillary Marigo Canneries as the inspector in charge in 2021, during the time of all the shootings, the Jack Melrose, the Jack Marigo fighting and stuff like that. As a result of George Clark's performance and attitude and his involvement, his professionalism, that came to a lull. Marigo Ancillary Canneries had the most murders per capita in per area in the 2020-2021. They had the most until 2022 in April, where they had the 8-person shot and 3 of them died in a house. That was when it was coming to a close. We were up night and day, morning and night. It just so happened that before the elections, the night, I think the 2 days before the elections, the Saturday night, there was that a political event, and both parties agreed that all events should be ended at 10 o'clock. And we have to stop that nonsense. That's about 10 o'clock. If the commissioner gives a time that an event is supposed to go up to 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and an officer on his own gives extra time, whatever happens after that time, the commissioner is not responsible. You have to account. If somebody gets killed and the program was still going on after the time to give, you're responsible. People have to understand that. Everybody wastes a lot of time when they have the program, and when it comes to a close, they want to rush. That's what was going on with that program. At that time, I didn't leave the area, but I left the main stage area, and I was attending to traffic and other things, because some people were already leaving. I last spoke to some of the reps going down to Labrie and stuff, they have to leave because of the time, right? Eventually, when I realized, hey, but look at the time, it was not stopping yet. Then I heard they said somebody coming up again, and after that is that. I said, well, look at the time, but no, they can't have. So I left where I was, and this was not checking themselves.
So what was the time? At that time, what was the time?
It also ended at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And at 9:45, they saying a dance troupe have to come, and then we'll hear from brother so-and-so, and then so I don't know, that will, I said, let me go and tell them quickly to arrange the time, because it's already going past, it will go past the time if they do that. Mm-hmm. At least finish their talking, and the thing will done so they can go home. But if you bring in dance troupe now, and that dance troupe came and danced already before, you bring them back up again. Come on, so I was just saying that to myself. When I reached the stage, eventually when I reached the stage, it was about 9 past 10. Because getting to that place, I just stop and see about traffic, stop and see about this one, people calling me for this and that. That call should be a little bit delayed. When I reached there, I saw Sergeant Clark on their side, patiently waiting for the thing to end. I went to speak to Mr. Jerome Girard, who is the uncle of Mr. Wayne Girard. We are related. I spoke to Jerome. I said, Jerome, because we did karate together. I said, Jerome, that thing's supposed to end at 10 o'clock. It's already 9 past 10, you know. What time that thing's supposed to end? You're supposed to end that already, guys. Because we have to go home too. He told me, okay, we're just doing the last thing on me, so we're supposed to go. That's the last thing there. I said, but try to finish that, because we have to go. Right? And next month, no, I think other people come and listen, and they want to put their own piece. I'm not taking them on, I'm talking to Jerome, because he's the one, he's the campaign manager or whatever he was there. Mr. Wayne Girard, very professional at the time, came through, he spoke to us. He spoke to me, told me, yes, and in a while, that's the last thing there, fine. I'm saying, quarter past, it's still going on. 20 past, I said, hey, guys, look, that needs to stop. So Mr. Clark, whether he asked them before, to stop, the thing need to stop. Clark, hey, look, that thing needs to stop, and we will insist on that. Hey, look, that must stop now. Because look, one program and next program, when will it stop? That's when the people start getting upset. While I was on one side doing something, I see another thing break up on the other side with Mr. Ernest Hille and Mr. Clark. Mr. Ernest Hille saying things to him. When I come into when I win my elections on Monday, you will cease to be a police, Mr. Clark. And he is certainly saying to Mr. Hille, on Monday, you will no longer be an MP. So it's 1 for 1. They say, I'm an educated man. They say, well, be an educated man. Stop saying it, let's see it. No, that's the exchange that was going on. And then it's a whole thing. I will make sure, my first point of view, I said, guys, let's finish that. Yeah. I tried to quell both sides. Eventually quiet down, and then they went in that same noise while I'm trying to calm things down. I'm not involved in it, you know. I'm moving it, Mr. Clark, shaking across the guys, gentlemen. That's when that guy came from nowhere. He looks like one. That's what that burned me, you know. He looks gay, and he calls me a bulla. That night, I almost lost it, you know. I saw him today. That man's face can never leave my head. He insulted me for the rest of my life. And I'm seeing he walked that way, he looked that way, he acted that way. To call me that, it hurts me to the heart. Mr. Ernest Hille as well as Mr. Girard. Those persons were telling me, hey, look, relax. So I was upset. Mr. Girard took me away from that. His uncle and himself to me. Mr. Girard came and apologized to me. We in uniform working. I mean, we're not taking sides, we're working with both parties. Every time the police always being brought into stupidness. Mr. Clark did his work. We did extra. And because of that, today, Mr. George Ditterville, I can call his name, he was an ex-superintendent, was the one who gave Mr. Ernest Hill said, I must find out who you are. I must find your name. Mr. George Ditterville was standing there. He said, George Clark, Clark, George Clark. That is me. I was disappointed. And he came to me and I walk up on him. I just walk up on him. I was disappointed, honestly. I was disappointed. Instead of quelling the situation, you actually stimulate. And these things go on around political events. The police is not a political party. That's why I don't like working by these things, People get thin-skinned when they possessive and they're dangerous. I don't work by these things because you will touch me for your party. You will not like my results. That's why I don't like, in my 26 years working in the force, the only time I ever worked by political parties was the last elections, And I thank God for that. I never had chance to work by these things at all. The TMT power and insult your mother, curse. I don't like this kind of thing now. And we have to stop that. The police they are not a political party. Both parties putting the police into their nonsense. And for me to stand there, I work with the man for the past 5 years. And to stand there and hear people talk nonsense about him, stop it. It was wrong. It is wrong. Regardless whether you labor, you flubber, stop it. George Clark did his work. At least he gave you the courtesy as the senior man in the department to take the case. Before you say they give it to a constable or a couple. You know how people think. You have an inspector doing it. People must learn to put things aside. I'm a professional in what I'm doing. That's it. I forgot about age. That's if George Clark had a situation with you. That's if you remember that. I work with the man. He's a professional. Let's leave it there. Respect. Come on. Respect your office. Stop going in public and do all the other things here. Guys, we need to we're losing it, And I blame the politicians. Stop that stupidness. Honestly, guys, I'm honestly disappointed. Yes, thing.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. We continue with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Let's take another call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, St. Lucia. Tim. Amanda, she's in. Good afternoon as well.
Good afternoon, caller.
Tim, I am so sick of hearing all of this over a very, very, very simple situation. I don't even know why it has gotten to this point. It makes no sense to me. None whatsoever. Ernest could have ended this, and he could have ended it quickly, months ago. But, I fault two people primarily for how this has turned out. The first is Claudius, because Claudius Francis either did not see the tape, he intentionally lied to the public, or he was just being his usual self, which I've always believed is an ass. Okay, that's how I see it.
But I don't know. I don't know. We can say that he lied, caller. I don't know. We can say that he lied. But continue.
No, I didn't say that he did. I said either. So we have to pick one of the three.
Okay.
All right. Now, if he saw the tape, then he pontificated on something that he does not understand. Because if he says there was no assault, yet he says he saw the tape, when there's clearly an assault on the tape. Or maybe he didn't know what an assault was, but it's his habit of playing lawyer when he doesn't have the information. Because any touching or any action that leads a person to believe that they may be in imminent danger is an assault. Hilaire did not even have to put his hand on the lady. From the tape I saw, the way he walked up to her aggressively and his mannerisms in talking to her would be sufficient. So whoever's advising him should have simply told him, if it wasn't your intention to hurt her, but yes, what we see, the law does not allow. Call the lady up privately apologize to her, find out what you can do to make this up, and end this. I don't think she's so unreasonable that she would not have accepted an apology unless she had an ulterior motive. And then if she has an ulterior motive, then maybe it was a setup, and then you deal with it that way. But she would not have been, I don't know her, I don't think she would have been so unreasonable that she would not have accepted an apology. But then now you have Hilaire go on this rant about a police officer for something that was a summary, very, very, very summary action. So why would the police officer, any police officer, need to see the commissioner over a simple assault case? Why would he need to see his supervisor over a simple assault case? Assume he has the motive that Hilaire says that he has. Even with that motive, he can do whatever he wants. He could hate you and still follow the law in bringing a case against you to the court. You don't know who likes you, who doesn't like you out there. So why should you even say that he's done something wrong because he's a flubble operative? You know what an operative is? Somebody who's out there acting on behalf of somebody else in a clandestine kind of way, and it's never to the good of anyone. So why call this man an operative? This is his work. This is his paycheck. This is his salary. This is his livelihood. We don't mess with people's money like that. We just don't do that, especially when you don't have any real basis for it. I think Hilaire should have been thanking that police officer. He really should. He should have said, you know, I thank that police officer for simply sending me a summons to come to court, not waiting till I walk out of Parliament with handcuffs and putting my hand behind my back and dragging me down to the courthouse in full view of everybody, because he would have been within his right to do that. Thank him for not actually charging you, giving you that opportunity to go into court and mediate, perhaps leave this as a civil offense as opposed to a criminal one. But we never see the rainbow. We never see the pot of gold. We never see the good in a situation. We only see the bad. He sent me a summons to come to court, so it must be that he has something against me. He wants to do this. He wants to destroy me. No, Negro, you destroy yourself with your behavior. You have a PhD. Come on, pull up your socks. Every time we turn around, we hear somebody saying, Hilaire did this, Hilaire did. You got away at the court because your lawyer filed the wrong action. Instead of appealing the magistrate's action, they went after the controller. That was you guys' fault. Nobody's trying to do anything to you. You brought down a car that was in the name of the state. Nobody brings down a car in the name of the state unless it belongs to the state. So maybe it was an error. Accept that you made the error. But there is no accountability among these men in politics. No one wants to apologize. No one wants to say, hey, listen, I made a mistake, you know, I'm sorry about that. Because everybody's wrong and strong. And you know what? All the young ones below us are looking at us and hearing us and seeing the way we behave, and that's what they're mimicking. And St. Lucia is starting to become a failed state. If our leaders can't get it together, if they can't say I'm sorry when the time comes to say I'm sorry, if their intention is to pinpoint citizens and bring them into situations based on what their whims and fancies, it's never going to get better. So Ernest, straighten up your back. Look at yourself in your mirror. Tell yourself, I'm a man. I make errors. I'm not perfect. I erred in this situation. Let me call Miss Charles or her attorney and settle this so we can stop talking about it and we can get to the business of the country. There are lots of issues in this country that need to be addressed. Let us use that on NewsSpin. Give us an opportunity to put that aside because it's as simple assault. And yes, it's an assault. And it was not your business to move her out of Parliament. You should have gotten the right person. So tell us, please, that you made a mistake, that you're sorry you made the mistake, and you want to put this behind you, and you're going to settle this with the lady. Do it privately. Do a non-disclosure so nobody needs to know what you guys agreed to. And move and keep it moving, which is what you should have done in the first place. And don't listen to people like Claudius. Claudius give nobody good advice. All right, he shouldn't even be speaker. And Philip Pierre, get another speaker, man. This is getting old. Thanks, Timothy. Thanks,
ma'am. Thank you so much. We have another call. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You on the air. See if you could put this call on the air. It's been calling for a while now. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It is called NewsSpin, and we continue with your calls. In the meantime, good afternoon to Amanda. Let's find out what is happening in the chat room.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, NewsSpin. There's a few comments here via Facebook. Someone says, those PJP administration or ministers think that they are above the law, like the police cannot arrest or talk to them. And NewsSpinner says, wasn't the Attorney General Ernest Taylor's lawyer in the Rover Gate case? Someone says, if you are a serious Prime Minister, Ernest Taylor should be out of your cabinet for now. That is only if you are serious about the country. A commentary reads, that's not the issue for you, but we live in a society where your last name or who is your name matters in the judicial system. Someone says that Ernest couldn't do a press conference for our CIP money or even as Deputy Prime Minister on the violence in our society, but he is quick to call a press conference to defend himself. He never does anything wrong. It is always the leader of the opposition that's after him. Poor Jab Shasne, we all need another press conference to discuss our CIP. Where are the audits? And NewsSpinner says there's a magistrate who used to call your show regularly. She once said on your show that she knows firsthand of corruption within the judicial system in St. Lucia. So who are we to say otherwise? Another commentary says we blame colonialism for every problem we have had, yet through independence we now manage our own affairs but continue to make a mess with it. Someone says that Ernest Taylor was not being truthful about what happened in ancillary in 2021. Commentaries, I disagree, Tim. What are you saying? What you're saying is how the judicial system should work in a perfect world. However, we know better, as evident with the numbers of regular men and women in St. Lucia who cannot receive justice because they do not have a famous last name or have the money it takes to pay someone off. Let's keep it real. Someone says that this is not the first time that a sitting minister of government is being libelous about a serving police officer. And I suspect it will continue because those in a position to do something about it appear to be helpless or simply don't care. Another commentary says, please give us such a detailed account for the outstanding CIP questions, Mr. Minister. Commentary reads, so what does that have to do with the fact that you touched the lady without her permission? Someone says that it's obvious that the media is afraid to ask the real questions.
Cool, that point. Talking about the media afraid to ask the real questions. The questions posed to Dr. Healy yesterday by some of our reporters. Let's listen and watch.
Isn't it, don't you think, in the interest of the progress that the government has made on a wide variety of issues, that maybe it's time to play dirty and not to do this Michelle Obama thing where when they go low, we go high. Maybe it's time to, kick somebody in the knee, and isn't it? Are we not risking the progress that has been made by trying to play up to a cleaner, higher politics, which has hardly ever existed in the whole history of politics anywhere in the world?
As the government in charge right now, what are you hoping that, or what can your government do to ensure that things like that do not happen? Because it seems to be a very serious issue.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question.
Chloe, NBC News. You stressed on the word push. She says assault. Assault could be any physical contact. Would you say that even though there's no malice behind it, that you did physically touch her in the moment, that she exaggerated the word and said it was push? And she also said that after all the evidence, because they had investigations in terms of the video. If it wasn't real, then it wouldn't have been brought to court. What do you have to say on that?
Mr. Minister, from all your indication, it seems there is political interference within the police force, and you're concerned about this?
So, listening to your statement and your responses to the various questions, it almost tells me, almost sounds, as if the hierarchy of the police force and I guess the commissioner does not have a handle on what is happening in the police force.
I don't know many solutions that will disagree with you.
Don't you think, in the interest of the progress that the government has made on a wide variety of issues, that maybe it's time to play dirty and not to do this Michelle Obama thing where when they go low, we go high. Maybe it's time to, kick somebody in the knee, and isn't it? Are we not risking the progress that has been made by trying to play up to a cleaner, higher politics, which has hardly ever existed in the whole history of politics anywhere in the world?
So let me say to the world that this guy is the news director of Choice Television. He's the news director of Choice Television. Station I had the pleasure of working with for about 5 years. And I'm not being boastful. I literally launched that newscast with some young, inexperienced, but hard-working reporters. I think I went there in 2011 and literally walked off the job in 2016. And we had some fantastic reporters. You had Tresha Lionel working there. You had Sheffield Gillard working there as a reporter. You had Anna Toole working there as a reporter. There's a name that eludes me right now. But we had some great female reporters. And to see that's what Choice has come to now. Choice Television has come to now. And I remember our slogan there was, the new prime time is 8 p.m. Quite embarrassing. We have a call. I think, Keisha St. Helen was one such reporter at the time. Very hardworking. We have a call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin. Hello. You are on the air.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Hi. Good afternoon, Tim. Boy, from the time NewsSpin started, I've been trying to get you, but I eventually got through. So thanks.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Herman Gil Francis, former Deputy Police Commissioner, former National Security Minister. Yes. Go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you. It seems that Ansari is fast becoming notorious for those sort of things. And so I can start with my own experience in 2011 when the Lucia Labour Party was in office, and there was a meeting at Ansari, and Dr. Mondesi, Keith Mondesi, but doctor is Keith Mondesi. He decided that he was going to have his public meeting very, very close to where the St. Lucia Labour Party was having the meeting. I told him that this meeting had been advertised for a long time, and although it was election time and it didn't need any permission on that occasion to have a public meeting, he did not inform the police so that I could send police officers to that meeting. Secondly, it was too close to a national public meeting, and I only had about 2 or 3 police officers. It was just incidentally that I was passing through Ansari that night when I saw what was happening, and I stopped to assist the police officers. The Labour Party had set up their stage. The stage was occupying almost the center of the road. It's a four-cornered area, and only one area you could have gone into Dr. Mondesi's office. He complained, and I had the gentleman from Grozile to remove the stage from where it was and push it further up so that you could have accessed that office from 3 directions. Mondesi insisted that he was going to have the meeting. And I told him that if he was going to have that meeting there, against my instructions, then I'm going to arrest him. He left, picked up his megaphone and continued to talk and ask persons to come around. When I recognized that things were going to get out of hand, I called the SSU to come down to Ansari to assist me. Now, persons started sending bottles and stones, and that meeting was cut short. I spoke to Minister Rambali and I told her that I don't think I would be able to take care of all the politicians who were there. So in the best interest of everything, I could have, after that meeting, but it was very close to the election time, Tim. And I knew that had I charged him, that it would have been an electioneering offense, and that case would have been heard very quickly, and he would not have been able to contest that seat. In my wisdom, I decided, although at that time persons knew for a fact that I supported the St. Lucia Labour Party, I was not going to give the St. Lucia Labour Party any advantage in that election by doing that. So I allowed Kip Mondesi to contest the election by not bringing a charge against him. He was successful in the elections. The United Workers' Party won the elections. And he proceeded to send me on leave, a leave that I did not have because I was in Barbados. I just left Barbados where I did my law degree. And unfortunately, I did it in 4 years because when I went to Barbados, I was not told what I was going to do. And it's only after 1 year of doing social sciences that I got in good enough grades that I was transferred to law and did my 3 years. So I had 4 years. The scholarship is for free. And the 4th year, I went to cabinet. Honorable Mario Michel was the acting prime minister at the time. And I told him I had vacation leave amounting to about 90 days. And he decided that, okay, I'm going to give you the whole length of time that you need to spend your last year at university. So when I came back, I was only due 1 year because I was actually doing my degree while on vacation leave for the last year. Mondesi decided to send me on vacation and so on. Well, at the end, I welcomed it because I built my house. So John called me and Sir John asked me, why didn't I come to him? And I told Sir John, I will never come to any politician because I do not want any politician to assist me when I'm doing my work as a police officer. I also arrested Timothy James at the airport, VG Airport, for parking in a restricted area. And the gentleman told me if I didn't know who he was. And I told him I really didn't care about that. He was parked in a prohibited area and he should move. He refused to move. The custom control at the time was Mr. George, he used to be a cab sec.
Gerard?
For Sir John. He was at the airport at that time.
Was it George Gerard?
Say again?
Gerard?
Victor Gerard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's George Gerard, yes. And Mr. Gerard said, Herman Gill, no, there's no transportation, so he's going to allow his vehicle to drop me at the police station. And I did that. I brought down Timothy James to the airport, to the Central Police Station. And when I introduced the charge to ASP Malanda from Grozile, he said, no, man, but you can't arrest this guy. This is the personal assistant to the Prime Minister. And he actually asked the sergeant to release him. I was a constable at the time. And I said, well, okay, you can do that. But there are 2 ways to skin a cat. Okay, I can do it by arrest. I can do it by summons. And I proceeded to go by summons. And at the end of the day, Timothy James paid. Magistrate Shillingford convicted him. So there are many ways to do these things. And I do not understand why politicians would insist on involving the police in this sort of things. Okay? This case, as Rick Wayne said yesterday, in the local vernacular, I wouldn't repeat it, but you know what Rick said.
Yeah.
The inspector has enough authority to be able to decide that he's going to take this case. Had the lady gone to the police station, Central Police Station, the matter would be reported to the desk. The sergeant on the desk would say, okay, there's sufficient a prima facie case there. The sergeant can accept it. Or the sergeant can say, no, I'm not accepting it. But an inspector can accept that. He doesn't have to inform the commissioner or the DPP about anything like that. Okay? He has the evidence because the inspector is not the only person who's going to go to court. And he would have had to have spoken to the persons from the IT department who would have given him certain information to actually verify what the lady was saying so that he acted upon it. Okay? So what does the inspector's political preference have to do with that? And I'm very, 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 very disturbed with Dr. Hille. Dr. Hille should not have said this sort of thing. That is wrong. And I don't know who advised him, but he should never, never, never come out on this thing. There's a lady who just called earlier and said that if Dr. Hille was an individual who accepts responsibilities, he would have taken it on his own to speak to Eldridge and tell her, well, okay, well, I made a mistake and we can deal with it. If she was insistent that she wanted to go to court, then you could have decided that she has ulterior motive, but you have not even tried that. Okay, but you come out there and you're giving a press conference on a matter that is before the court. You know, we're supposed to know that you're not supposed to do that. And I'm sure his attorneys will have told him, and everybody now is very, very annoyed with what he did. That is not right. And I mean, Tim, I'm not going to say it, but if you know who the police officer is in this matter, you will know he has siblings. And if you do your investigations properly, you will know who one of his siblings are. Okay? And so now you're bringing politics into this thing because his sister is Dr. Clark. Okay? The president of, you know what she was. All right? And one politician, famous politician, or infamous politician, we call her Zelev of the United Workers' Party. That is what is going to cause confusion in this country. And I've said it, Tim, and people want to take me to task for that. But if we continue treating our public in that manner, police officers in that manner, the public is going to one day turn on the politicians. Because they will realize that if a politician has done me something wrong and I go to the police, I will not get justice. And the chances are these persons are going to take justice into their own hands. We have to understand that. We cannot continue doing this. This is the only legal area that we have is the police force. We do not have an army. All right? And when you're going to do that to the police officer, and I heard Cameron shortly, and Cameron said that every police officer should take umbrage to this matter and support Mr. Clark for the job that he did. He is going to be under a lot of scrutiny. I do not know where he lives. So all that has to take into consideration that if he lives in a stronghold of the St. Lucia Labour Party, this guy is going to be miserable. You know, are we sure that we want this thing to happen? And if something happens to him, do you think that his family and other police officers are going to be happy that this has happened and maybe contemplating other things to do? This is very, very dangerous grounds. And I want Dr. Ernest to come out and apologize to the St. Lucia public and George Clark to say that he made a mistake. It is time for Ernest Hille to understand that all these little infractions that they've been doing, that you cannot be correcting all the time. My last story with Dr. Ernest is when I was the president of the chairman of Sports Inc. He approached me to use Darren Sammy's grounds for Red International. And when I told the guy, well, I wanted a certain amount of money for that event, the man said, but if I don't know who he is, I said, so what does it have to do with me? He said, well, I can prevent you from getting any cricket matches in St. Lucia. And I told him, but that's not a problem. Because when I have to prepare the cricket ground for any international match, it costs me almost $70,000, $80,000. And the West Indies Cricket Board only gives me sometimes $30,000. So I'm at a loss. It's better I have football and other shows at the park, you know. And it took his lawyer, what's his name now? My good friend. But his lawyer at the time that said, no, but you cannot get on Latif Human Gill is correct. You know, he's correct. He is the chairman, and if that is what he wants, You have to think it. But that is the arrogance of Ernest Hilaire. That's the arrogance of Ernest Hilaire. And this is not good. He has to sit down with a counselor or a psychologist or somebody to try and let him temper himself. Otherwise, it's not going to be good for him. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much. You just heard that from former Deputy Prime Minister, former Minister with responsibility for national security, Deputy Police Commissioner, Mr. Hermangild Francis. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It is called NewsSpin. Wasco wishes to inform the public of planned maintenance on its raw water pipeline on Tuesday, November the 4th, 2025. During this period, water pressure supplied to customers from Millet to Cap Estate will be affected. Upon completion of these scheduled works, residents at higher elevations and at the end of the distribution line may experience additional delays as the network stabilizes. The public is therefore strongly advised to collect and conserve water where possible. Wasco apologizes to its valued customers for any inconvenience caused as they work towards infrastructure resilience and restoration of regular water supply. Look out for updates on Wasco's website and social media platforms. Stay with us.
KFC, yo, we back with the vibe. Strips and dip combo, flavor that rise. Free crispy strips, fries on the side. 16-ounce drink, sauce for the ride. Order for 25, deal so nice. Good and crunchy, can't think twice. Barbecue, honey, mustard ranch if you wish. Dip it, dunk it, finger licking bliss. KFC, burning flavor, set the mood. Strips and dip is back, finger licking good.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with Loose Select. No more paper, no more mess. Easy billing, no stress. Use my account to pay online. Pay your bill at any time. Get the stress off your mind. No more standing in line.
Visit LootSelect.com today and sign up to my account to pay your bill. Request a temporary or new connection or switch an account to your tenant's name. Do it all online.
Personal, paperless. Use the virtual service desk. Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with Loose Select.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique du Corps, because time is vital in health.
At First National Bank, we believe being first means putting you first. Your first home, we've got the mortgage. Starting your first business, count on our commercial loans. Dreaming of your first car? Drive it home today. Heading to college? Let's fund that first big step with a student loan. No matter the milestone, make First National Bank your first choice for all your loan needs. First in service, first in trust, first for you. Call us at 455-7000 or visit your nearest First National Bank branch today so we can help put you first. First National Bank, here for you.
It's coming. The brunch of the century. Welcome to Sunburnt. It's coming. Sunburnt.
To have a strong structure,
you must have a strong foundation. And at Caribbean Pastuche Limited, we offer top quality aggregate materials at great prices. We supply high quality ready mix, casting sand and plastering sand. We also take special requests for specific materials that you may require for your building projects. Caribbean Pastuche Limited is located in Bexon behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastuche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
It's in the feeling in our weak side. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. Cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. The people, we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrating. Come let your rhythm flow.
Every day, St. Lucian women give everything to their families, communities, and dreams. Yet breast cancer still claims too many lives. Now, St. Lucia is making history. For the first time, state-of-the-art 3D mammography is available right here at home. Donated by the World Bank through the Health Sector Support Program, these advanced machines are a major step forward in universal health coverage, and they're free. Women 40 and older or younger, if at risk, can access this life-saving service. Visit your local wellness center for a referral. Early detection saves lives. Free mammograms, universal coverage. Your wellness center is your first step.
The following is a paid political advertisement.
The government working on sector. In all sector in government, the government working. Hello, the country running well, my girl. The PM doing good.
Of course, Emma is doing pretty well in Suffolk.
My children are grown, but my grandchildren is still benefiting from what the government is giving.
Everything good, cook and curry.
Lele politique a ouvert September. Il va être cérémonie, une big ceremony. Moun sorti l'autre côté vini de cérémonie, c'est pas flambeau, amle bay on kabay flambeau le bay batem. Qui do le pour education, il pas ni flambeau et le bas.
Mr. P have done a lot for us, for the children, the hospital.
A betterment for the youth.
Pensioners. I believe the little money that people are getting was too small, you know, and by raising that was a great achievement by the Prime Minister and the government.
If you give a fisherman to build a house, you will get a boat. You see me? Because here that if you don't know my struggles, you don't know what I'm going through, how could you help me? How could you solve my problem and you don't know my struggles? And a man coming out and say he doesn't know what it is to put people first. How you want to be my Prime Minister and you don't know what it is to put people first, my brother? That making sense?
Having the Lackley minibus drivers, the best drivers in Castro. We love him, Stevenson King. Patriots.
Look that we building the waterfront. We have a road building on the other side of new development. So far so good.
Il a fait chimé, il a mangé, il a bay maman, qui a voulu toute maman l'école, education. To the household near university scholarship. Sean got from Shaiba in Valley.
Even me, if I want to take my business into a next level, there are venues that I can go to and get a grant. And there are so many things that the government has done and is still doing.
I mean, naturally you could see the difference between what I was there and what is now present, you know?
I can't wait.
I don't mind them. We put them down already. They know they're going to lose.
But honestly speaking, the government is doing very well. I'm proud of my Prime Minister and his Ministers of Cabinet.
For CXC, what do you want? This first one, the teachers, preschool getting how much? This now, preschool now, free train now, education now. What you want again? What you want again?
This was a paid political advertisement.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Once again, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. Somebody says there via WhatsApp. I would like Edmund Estefan to take a page from Herman Gill Francis' good book. Stop that phrase, blood thicker than water. Good is good and bad is always bad. And let's see if we have some more of your messages. Somebody says there, you see you and that advert, I don't like it one bit. Are people sounding like illiterates? That's according to a WhatsApp message. And another WhatsApp message says there, Mr. Clark is wrong to not recuse himself since he and Mr. Hille had a running in the past. In jurisprudence, justice must not only be done but must also appear to be done. And because Dr. Hille is the only Deputy Prime Minister in St. Lucia, the courtesy of running the matter by his superiors was warranted. We complicate issues when we don't have to. This is not to say that what Inspector Clark did was legally wrong. We know, however, that we can be right and lose. The extra caution was merited in this situation. It's a question of judgment and operating above reproach. Let's see if we have a call in the line. In the meantime, a WhatsApp message, and somebody says there, Herman's call was long but more informative than any of somebody's long calls. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. It says that, Tim, why do some people like to say, don't you know who I am? I thought nobody was above the law. The law in St. Lucia is for the layman, not for the so-called hierarchy. But they need to know God is watching them. And another WhatsApp message, and somebody says there via WhatsApp. Okay, let's see there. We have to avoid this one. Another WhatsApp message, and it says, I'm saddened by the unprofessional line of questioning from the journalists in St. Lucia towards Dr. Hille, which has unfortunately diverted attention away from the real issue and onto the police. I think those so-called reporters and journalists, they know exactly what they are doing. Let's see there, another WhatsApp message. Tim, what level of journalism is this? Our journalists have become more political than the politicians themselves. They have no analytical intelligence whatsoever. All these journalists were carefully selected to be at this press conference. Okay, so there was a former government minister who was on the Situation Room. He was in the Situation Room this morning here on Power 97.9 FM. That individual is Dr. Keith Mondesi. This is what he said.
I know this is a NewsSpin station. I am opening an invitation to Timothy Poleon. Anytime he wants me on, I am there. I will be there. And I'm saying to him, give me one reason why Spider and himself, anytime I called his programs, he hung up on me. He would not allow me to express myself. I want him to clarify that to the public, the people of St. Lucia. But I am open to him and I said, the truth will always keep you clear. And I'm not afraid of him interviewing me or anyone. I am asking him to invite me and come up with his points. Do his homework well. I'm not even worried to do too much homework because I know it's from the heart and it's the truth.
Former Government Minister Dr. Keith Mondesi speaking earlier today in the Situation Room right here on Power 97.9 FM. But Dr. Keith Mondesi does not do any homework anywhere. Also, I have no reason to invite Dr. Keith Mondesi on NewsSpin. But if he wants to appear on a talk show, he wants me to interview him, he can always try to appear on a Newsmaker Live. Maybe he can appear on next week's program, next week, Wednesday, and I certainly will be willing to interview him. And he was trying to get the line. I think he was calling via WhatsApp. So, Dr. Mondesi, if you call, I will be taking your call, so I await your contribution. Okay? Not with bated breath, but I await your call and to engage you. Amanda, let's find out what is happening in the chat room.
Tim, a few comments responding to the clip you played of the press briefing. Someone says here, this reporter is singing for his supper, now inciting violence. So sad, this reporter is biased at large. Someone says here, just recently, the same reporter, Jason, had to make a public apology on a news item he reported on. A commentator says, so the journalist is advising the minister to further assault someone when he's trying to defend himself against assault. A commentator says, in the interest of progress, the government has made... Isn't it time to kick somebody in the knee? That statement in itself is beyond telling.
Dr. Keith Mondays is on the line, so let's put him on. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, and thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir. Okay. Good afternoon. And I'm never afraid to interview you. It's that you call once in a while, and sometimes your contribution is very muddled, and I consider it insignificant. And at that stage, I decide. Hold on. Dr. Mondesi, yes. Hold on, I'm just making a statement, and I'm being honest with you from my vantage point. I just find your comments sometimes, your contribution can be very incoherent. And I, don't want to waste the people's time. I cut the call off. That's all it is. Go ahead, sir. Let's hear you.
Okay. Well, then I'll tell you one thing. I speak English as good as you. I write English as good as you. And I can prove it. I went to a university.
No. Hold on, Mondesi.
Because I wrote English to
Dr. Mondesi, hold on. What is your point? Why did you call the program?
I called to tell you you had Roman Gill call. And Roman Gill said that he came to arrest me because there was a meeting in Ancillary. That is a lie. You hear? A lie. I was very popular in my constituency and still is. And I went in my constituency office as usual. It was a good day. So the people crowded as usual. When I went there, people just crowded me around me. They came. And the people were just talking. There was no public meeting that we were supposed to have. And he came there and said he's going to arrest me. I said, arrest me. I'm not afraid. I said to him, what are we doing? Y'all don't have permission to keep a meeting. I said it is not a meeting. It is the people that are happy to see the district rep. And he brought on SSU, and he said he's going to do that. The people took care of him, and that's what he tell you. Bottles and stones, the people threw away, and I never encourage it. And my people, I just walked off, and I went to my home. Now I want him to answer. I want him to answer to the people. Why did Dr. Mondesi wanted to dispatch you and the other person, I will not mention his name, I would mention him, to send you all from St. Lucia to Barbados, in the center in Barbados that controls the cops for all the people. Ask him why. I ask him again. We had a meeting at Communication and Works, which is in communication infrastructure, with all the hierarchies of the police force. The Prime Minister at that time was Stevenson King and other permanent secretaries. And Mr. Regis, I have to call. He stood up and said, Roman Gill Francis knows nothing about policing. And Roman Gill should not be in the position he's in the position. He stood up and that was Regis saying that. He stood up and he said to Regis, yes, I don't know anything about policing. But what I know, I don't have any pirogues that leaves Beaufort and goes to St. Vincent without a captain.
Dr.
That
Mondesi.
will tell you what was involved.
Dr.
So
Mondesi.
listen to me. I'm telling you if you can recall that.
Dr. Mondesi, hold on. I have a tremendous amount of respect for my audience. So I don't know where you're going with this TMAT, and you saying...
You don't know where I'm going?
Hold on.
You better know where I'm going, because you know what does a pirogue go to? What does a pirogue go to St. Vincent? What is St. Vincent known for? Go and find out. I don't have to do your homework for you. You do your own homework. And ask him if he can remember it. If he can remember that, why would he make a statement like that vis-a-vis? And at that time, he and Regis were controlling dividing the police force. And this is why the Prime Minister at that time had tell somebody he had a group of people go in and find out why the police force was so disruptive and the police force was not doing their work. And that is the reason why they brought in 12 super cops from England to see if we could remediate and bring the police force back to some respect. And that is why they knew that I was in no nonsense. I was in no nonsense when I had the responsibility of National Security Minister. So let him answer these questions and let him tell the truth that it was not a public meeting. And he came to, and I also tell you another thing. He followed me during that election, supporting Labour Party. He entered my driveway. My dogs chased him, thinking that I had the money, going and buy votes. I can't buy a pants for myself, his votes I go and buy. And he followed me on my property, on my estate, in my driveway. Everywhere I drove that day of election, he was behind me with the Labour Party. So what did the Labour Party do him that he's so animous? His animosity to the Labour Party now is so bad. Politics has to be politics. You have pros and cons. So ask him why. I could have had him arrested on my property too. Entering private property, running behind my vehicle everywhere with another woman in the car, right? This guy is a disgrace.
Okay, Dr. Mandisi.
Right,
okay, let's cut him off. Thank you so much for calling, sir. This guy is unhinged, truculent, childish, just too loud, out of control. And that's why I can't have a decent conversation with Dr. Mandisi. I'm sorry to you, the audience, had to subject you to this diatribe. 4522979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Sorry for cutting your contribution short, Amanda. Let's continue with what's happening in the chat room.
All right, continuing, someone says journalism embodies fairness, independence, accountability, public trust, and respect for others. What happened there is not journalism. A few comments from earlier. Someone says here, so you all just threw the commissioner under the bus? What a joke country. So you mean every time a police officer has a case, he has to take it to the commissioner? Commentary reads, these people all need a re-education on how democracy works. This is atrocious. And NewsSpin says this is the kind of behavior from politicians that are causing division among supporters and the public at large. When you decide to publicize a law enforcement officer like this, instead of letting justice take its course, you are actually putting the officer in danger and playing with justice. A commentary says, we all have a right to affiliate with whichever political organization we choose to. And NewsSpinner says, once you do not speak the language of these politicians or stand with them in their actions, you will be labeled and called all sorts of names just because you have decided to do your job and not allowing any politician to direct you into how to do your job. Commentary says, since when it's a crime for a police officer to have a preferred party? A commentary reads, the police commissioner, if he hasn't done so yet, needs to publicly denounce what Minister Hill said about his officer. The officer should also take legal action against the minister. It's only a fair game. Someone says Hill is trying to set a narrative by elaborating push out of the building. Someone says Arile knows exactly why he called out the officer's name, just so his unhinged supporters to go after the gentleman and his family. A commentator says Stanley and Ernest have a similar situation where they were both charged as sitting members of the upper and lower house. One was fired forthwith and the other continues to enjoy the privileges afforded to him by the people. PJP, will you fire Minister Ernest? A commentary says, well, you don't expect anything to happen to this police officer, just like you and many others did not expect anything to happen to the others who were transferred, fired, demoted, victimized, attacked personally, etc., by government ministers that we thought knew better. Commentary says, we are not going to interfere with police work. We are just going to give the police the tools they need to do their work. But we're not going to interfere. Who said these words? Commenter says, the speaker once said he is a defender of everything orderly and fair. Will he come out to openly denounce what he has said about the investigating officer? Commentary says, it's time we learn how to separate politics from cases like what is happening now. This is ridiculous. If you cough, it's politics. The minister should be ashamed of himself with this ridiculous statement. Commenter says, so discussing what happens in St. Lucia right now because of politics, and it is a small group of politicians and their surrogates entirely responsible for this. Commenter says, yes, maybe he did not understand what assault was. All this could have been handled in a much better manner, but we're dealing with egos. That's always That's always our downfalls, our egos, sadly. Commenter says, Ernest takes no accountability for his actions, but we will deal with him at the polls, Tommy all the way. Commenter says, these situations should be lessons for all who wants to serve us, politicians, police officers, etc. on all sides. I hope the UWP politicians are listening and learning. A few comments here via YouTube. Someone says, Tim, have you ever wondered why we have a high level of crime, corruption on the island? Take a closer look at the people leading our country. Commenter says the rule of law only applies to some. And NewsSpin says via YouTube, I'm sick of St. Lucian politics. It needs to be done and over with. Commenter says, hearing this makes me wonder if SLP has the force wrapped around their finger, and because Mr. Clark is not one of those, Healy isn't happy. He's not like the other puppets. A commentator says the police commissioner has no control over his officers, yet still his leader keeps pumping money into the institution, yet still his leader has full confidence and always removes himself when it comes to crime. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Still to come, we have the NewsSpin question of the day, to be followed by the NewsSpin news of the day. Got travel plans? Don't let paperwork slow you down. The briefcase is making applications for passports and visas faster, easier, and stress-free. VA4 Environs, they are here to serve you. Whenever or whether it's your first passport or renewal, let them, the briefcase, do it for you. They also assist with applications for police records for 718-8624 or 713-7503, 713-7503 to book. The briefcase main office located on High Street, Castries, opposite the Electoral Department. They are opened Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. No lines, no hassle, no stress, just expert help right when you need it. The briefcase. Get everything in one place.
Ouais, messieurs. Aujourd'hui, moi la ka espérer plein bon glow. Si t'en la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, mais money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. Yo ni toute pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pompe cette ici. Yo ka ranger pompe aussi qui besoin service. Prendre pompe yo c'est Léo. Pompe ça c'est major. Ils bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Glo ka fonte. Europa ni pompe glo Léo en de couleur neuf, orange et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452-0763.
Don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Chivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Bouteille. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
Lucilec averti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone Salah. Mi an ti commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Pouye Lucilec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui pouye ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout d'outil ou ka servi pas vini moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucilec.
Tired of sky-high bills and a planet on the brink? It's time to go green without burning your pockets. At First National Bank, we are here to make saving the planet affordable. Whether you're installing solar panels, purchasing a water tank, upgrading to an inverter AC, or buying a hybrid vehicle, we've got the green to help you go green. Fast approval, low interest rates, and Mother Nature approved. Your future self will thank you. Visit firstnationalbankonline.com or call 455-7000 for more information to help you turn your green dreams into clean realities. First National Bank, here for you.
KFC, yo, we back with the vibe. Strips and dip combo, flavor that rise. Free crispy strips, fries on the side. 16-ounce drink, sauce for the ride. Order for 25, deal so nice. Go down and crunchy, can't think twice. Barbecue, honey, mustard ranch if you wish. Dip it, dunk it, finger licking bliss. KFC, Benny flavor. Set the mood, strips and dip is back. Finger licking good.
Chronic back pain, arthritis, spinal injuries, nerve disorders, even painful cramps. These conditions affect daily life, but you don't have to live with pain. Every day matters when it comes to your health. At La Clinique du Corps, we provide fast, accurate diagnosis with advanced GE-certified MRI technology and internationally recognized specialists. Our focus is safe, effective treatment that restores mobility, relieves pain, and gives you back your quality of life. Call 451-6559 today. 451-6559. La Clinique du Corps, because time is vital in health.
Are you building, renovating, or just looking to add something to your property? Then look no further. The Block Factory has all your concrete product needs in stock. From 4-inch to 12-inch concrete blocks to high-quality concrete pavers at an affordable price. Whether your project is big or small, we're ready to serve you. Visit us today on the Cul-de-Sac Bextor Highway, right at the entrance of Farron, next to the Stone Surgeon. Top quality blocks await you. Call us at 720-6752. The Block Factory, building your future one block at a time.
Need branded apparel that looks sharp and shows up on time? Welcome to Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts. We specialize in custom embroidery and t-shirt printing for businesses, teams, events, you name it. From embroidered logos on polished Oxford shirts, available in a variety of colors for men and women, to bold, high-quality printed tees that turn heads, we do it all. Bring your own shirts or choose from ours. Small runs, big orders, rush jobs, no problem. At Imprinted Designs, we're built for speed, efficiency, and clean professional results delivered on time, every time. So if you want your brand to stand out, not wait around, come down to Imprinted Designs at the Valmore Plaza or hit us up at 451-2920 or email address imprinteddesignsSLU@gmail.com. Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts.
1, 2, 3.
Hello, St. Lucia. I am Ezra the Fun Machine, and I'm inviting all proud and patriotic St. Lucians to the St. Lucia Taiwan Partnership Trade Show happening at the Pavilion on Rodney Bay from the 7th to the 9th of November 2025. Let me tell you, the best and brightest entrepreneurs will showcase their talent and creativity, so you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a vibe. Hey, there'll be a cooking competition, karaoke, and a fashion show by Rafferty. On Friday, November 7th, yours truly, Ezra the Fun Machine, I'll be in the building performing live. And on Saturday and Sunday, entertainment will be provided by the Impulse Band. Come celebrate our brilliant entrepreneurs at the 18th St. Lucia Taiwan Partnership Trade Show, November 7th to the 9th. Opening time 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily at the Pavilion in Rodney Bay.
You asked for it and you got it.
a quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
FastPay, 2 minutes and you're on your way. FastPay, FastPay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
The Creole rhythm never stops, and neither should the celebration. Join us for the Creole Brunch After Party at Sandals Grand St. Lucia Spa and Beach Resort on Sunday, November the 2nd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at our breathtaking Gardens Over the Water. Indulge in the very best of St. Lucian flavor and flair with authentic Creole cuisine prepared by our top chefs. Live entertainment, signature beverages, exciting door prices, and a keepsake 360 photo clip included in your all-inclusive package for just $150 per person. Come savor the taste, music, and magic of our culture. The perfect way to keep the Creole spirit alive after the Creole Week. Tickets are available right here at our Sandals Grand St. Lucia Beach Resort and Spa. Secure your spot today and keep the rhythm alive.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It is called NewsSpin. It is on Power 97.9 FM. It is also on YouTube as well as on Facebook. We have our final call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you on the air.
Tim, with your kind permission, I want to lodge a complaint on behalf of your callers. May I?
Go ahead, sir.
I mean, to inflict Mondaisy on your callers, and not because I'm sure half your callers don't know who Mondaisy is. And I think you ought to have warned them, told them something about Mondaisy, so that they wouldn't be shocked when Mondaisy finally called. Mondaisy is not a regular St. Lucian caller. Mondaisy is not a regular former government minister. Mondaisy is quite unique in everything he has done. Unique. And you needed to have informed your faithful callers, patient faithful callers, a lot more than they know. I'm sure most of them don't. They know the name, but I'm sure that's about all they know, Tim. And there's a lot. The incidents, the issues he was talking about are well chronicled, including his fracas with Herman Gill in Ancillary. That is well chronicled. His entry into politics here, well chronicled. His changeover from parties, well chronicled. Claudius Francis wrote a devastating article on him regarding his stay in his practicing as an ophthalmologist in Canada, and also of his time here. That is no ordinary guy. So, you know, it's good when people have that kind of significant history, that you inform your followers so they can determine for themselves what they're hearing, because they're hearing a noise that they cannot interpret appropriately.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. That was our final call. Let me turn my attention now to our NewsSpin question of the day. The NewsSpin question of the day, it reads, why criticize a police officer for executing his duties? Why criticize a police officer for executing his duties? That is the NewsSpin question of the day. It's also on our NewsSpin Facebook page, and I'm sure that you have been commenting. Finally, the NewsSpin news of the day reads, U.S. kills 3 in second strike on alleged drug boat in the Pacific. The United States kills 3 in second strike on alleged drug boat in the Pacific. That's a broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the channel grow. We'll be back, God willing, tomorrow afternoon, 12:30 for the final program for this week. Goodbye.